Back's turn. Origi turn, shoots.
Build the dream in FIFA 20, pay less and get more, and use the code TVM at checkout for a bigger discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video. This is something that I should have done yesterday, but I wasn't around to do it, so that's why I didn't do it. But essentially what we're going to do is go through the pitch notes for the new icon system. They've got icon swap deals or swaps or whatever they're calling it, and they obviously talk about SBCs as well. I'm not going to go through the whole thing and read everything because a lot of it is just it's kind of relevant, but I'll just summarize because otherwise we'll be here until, well, the game comes out. So let's scroll down a little bit here. So hi FIFA fans, blah 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 blah. So essentially what they're saying there, they're giving a quick summary as to what they want to do. So they want to change the way that the icons work through FUT 20 essentially. And this icon versions at FUT 20, they're basically saying that there's going to be 4 unique versions of each individual icon. We already know this: base, mid, prime, and of course the moments. But they're not all going to be available from launch, and they're not all going to be available at the end of the game. So they've got a little table here, which we're going to look at. There it is, beautiful. So the base and the mids will be available from early access, which is good. I like it. The primes won't be. A lot of people thought they were going to be, and it was just going to be moments that were going to be added later. But it turns out the primes are going to be added mid-December. Moments will be added mid-February. Base will be available from early access until mid-December, and the mid will be available from early access until mid-February. Now, why they can't just leave the base icons and the mid icons throughout the entire game is beyond me. I don't understand why they remove them. Like, what's the point? There has to be a reason for it, and I can't work it out. They don't explain why, and I can't logically understand why they wouldn't just leave base from early access to September. And the same with the mids. Because, yeah, okay, primes are impacts, moments are impacts, that's awesome, but surely the drop weight on those is going to be far greater, or less, whichever way you look at it, than the base and the mid icons. So surely, you've got to leave those base and mids in there for people opening packs that don't necessarily, you know, people who plow money into this game, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of FIFA points, won't care too much about this because they'll probably end up packing a prime or a moments along the way anyway. But for those running, you know, Road to Glory style accounts where they don't really put money into the game or very little, you know, they put like Christmas time, they put maybe like, I don't know, 4,000 FIFA points or something. Chances of you actually packing an icon are slim anyway. But if you put it in at Christmas, you don't have the opportunity to pack base icons anymore. Prime icon drop weight's going to be a lot less. So yeah, you've got an even less chance of packing an icon. But, you know, aside from that, that's the dates that we have and the timeline that we can expect icons to be in packs for. So whatever, you know, why ever, it doesn't matter because that's facts. That's what it is now. Moving on, I'm not going to read any of this really, apart from this one section here where it says select base icons will be available in FUT Draft during this time period. So going back up very briefly, from early access to mid-December, select icons or base icons will be available in draft. Now they say select, so not all of the base icons will be available in draft, and they'll only be available until mid-December, where then they get replaced by primes. What I don't understand is, why can't you just include every base icon in a draft? There's no competitive draft, right? Everyone's on the same sort of even playing field if you put them all in there. There's no like, oh, you know, we're going to give someone Pele and someone else isn't going to get him. You've given everyone the chance to draft them, so I don't really understand why they can't just include all of them in there. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. But again, they don't go into any real explanations, although they do explain here basically everything about the timeline that we've just been through. And then we move all the way down to... What do we move down to? They talk about icons and SBCs, and all of that paragraph there is essentially talking about how the SBC requirements were difficult to keep up with because of the demands of the market. People expect certain players to be cheaper than others, but they can't make them too cheap because then obviously they'll be far too easy to complete, blah, blah, blah. And then they talk about how they weren't happy with the way that base icons were used in FIFA 19, which essentially they were used as tokens or building blocks for the greater SBC. Okay, so for instance, I completed the moment Socrates, right? We'll take him as an example. You needed an icon to do that. I can't remember what icon I used now, but effectively you could go to the market, buy the cheapest icon you can find, put him into Socrates. Now, some of those cheap icons, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, Giggs for instance, he's always one of the cheap icons because he's trash. He was going for around 300,000-400,000 coins. Why? Because he's worth that? No, because he's used in an SBC. So what they're saying there is they want to try and move away from that, and they want players to be used for their actual playing ability, not because they have a value to an SBC. So, I mean, that makes sense. So, what they are proposing here, and these are the 3 key points around this area. Icons will not be used as requirements in SBC. So, instantly, you will no longer be using icons in any SBC. It says as requirements in SBC, so I'm guessing any SBC at all. They're not going to put that as a requirement, which is awesome. That will keep the price of icons down. They're also saying, just as a sort of sub point to that, that the old discard value of an icon was 102,000. Now it's 63,750. So they are lowering that even more. So they're trying to make base icons far more accessible on the market to a point where you might actually be able to pick up an icon in FIFA 20 for around 80,000 coins. In fact, you may be able to pick one up for 63,750 or 64, you know, because some of them are going to be completely useless and they're not going to be classed as icons, essentially. They're just going to be players. So, for instance, Ryan Giggs could actually be around 70,000 coins, his base version, because he's just trash. The problem with that is that when they leave packs mid-December, they will start to rise a little bit because they're just not available. There's less demand for them then because a lot of them are going to be pointless anyway and behind the curve, if you will. But still, it's something to consider. The next point down, specific guaranteed icon pack SBCs will continue to be released throughout FUT 20. So the likes of the, you know, when they brought that SBC in to guarantee you a base icon, or was it a mid icon? They had it in FUT Swaps as well. I'm not sure if FUT Swaps is still a thing in FIFA 20, but either way, they will still be releasing the odd icon SBC, but it'll be a pack, and it'll be a random icon. They're not going to release individual icon SBCs. As stated in the next point, there will be no individual or player pick icon SBCs released in FUT 20. So the point above says that now and again they'll drop an icon SBC, but it'll be a pack for a random icon. They might give you the specific tier, whether that be base, mid, prime, moments, etc., but it won't be a specific player or set of players. Underneath them, they say that they're just not going to be doing icon SBCs this year. So gone are the times of doing the SBC. Well, not gone are the times of the SBC grind, because League SBCs are still going to be a thing, I would have thought. I don't know whether they'll be repeatable or not, so you may or may not be able to do League SBC method. However, you won't be grinding towards icons because they're not going to be there as SBCs. People were kicking off about this when this first came out, and I can understand why to a degree, because obviously it was something to build towards. It was nice to be able to say, right, well, I'm going after this icon next, and I'm just going to grind until I get him. But the beauty of it is what they're introducing to replace those SBCs, and it's called icon swaps. Now, in its basic form, this is FUT Swaps, but just specifically for icons. Whether you'll have, and I doubt it, but whether you'll be able to exchange your tokens for packs as you can in FUT Swaps, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so, because they're going to be, I would assume you'd consider them to be far more valuable than in FUT Swaps, because every pick is an icon. So point number 1 says complete player token objectives, receive player tokens, and then redeem for icon rewards available in swap release. So or swaps release. So that it literally just goes through the entire system, and everything about it just screams foot swaps. It's exactly the same system. We don't know how much each and individual icon is going to cost. Obviously, some will be cheaper than others based on stats and overalls and things, and just the profile of the player, I would have thought. Don't know how many tokens are available. Don't know how you get them yet necessarily. I would imagine it's very similar to the way that foot swaps worked last year. Interestingly then, though, will foot swaps be in FIFA 20? Don't know. Maybe they've already said that and I've missed it. But if it is, then you've got a lot to do. There's a lot to work towards. You're going to have to prioritize. There's no way you're going to be able to do it all. Unless you sacrifice another game mode, whether that be Foot Champs or something. There will be 3 icon swaps released throughout the year. Each icon swaps release will contain at least 20 individual icons, so there may be more at some point. Player tokens can also be redeemed for select guaranteed icon packs during each swap release. Oh, there we go then. So I missed that when I read through it first time. So where I said before, where in foot swaps in FIFA 19 you had pack options in there, you will have pack options within the icon swaps this year, but they are going to be random. Now, I would imagine that they will be for either all of the icons. I can't imagine they're going to go, right, you've got, I don't know, give me, Laudrup is 3 tokens. And then you've got Michael Owen is 5 tokens. But for 4 tokens, you can get an icon pack, which guarantees you an icon from this set. Surely not. It must be all of them. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. But either way, there will be guaranteed icon packs during these swaps, which is, I like that. It's decent. That adds a sort of blind bag element to it. And you can gamble, essentially. Surprise mechanics. Each icon swaps release will contain a range of icon versions. So, like I said, I don't know whether the pack will just be specific to that icon range, or whether it'll be all icons. We'll have to wait and see. If an icon has already been released in an icon swaps release, it will not have any other versions released in a future icon swaps release. So we do have an image in just a second after we finish reading this stuff of all of the players available in the first swaps deal. This will be the only time you'll be able to get them through a swaps deal. They will not appear next time. So obviously there's going to be 3 releases. The first release won't be duplicated. Icon swaps objectives will reflect the rewards on offer. So, some of the objectives are going to be fairly straightforward. Other ones will be difficult because they know that the top end is going to be a big icon. Right, makes sense. Each icon swaps release will have a unique set of player tokens tied to it. Each individual icon in an icon swaps will require a certain number of player tokens in order to redeem. We knew that. It's exactly the same as foot swaps, so each player will have a specific amount of tokens required to unlock. Each player token can only be redeemed in that specific icon swaps. I won't read the rest of that. Basically, it's exactly the same as foot swaps. When you unlock that token, you have to use it in that set. It will not roll over, and chances are, even if you do have maybe 1 or 2 left over that you couldn't redeem anything for, you will be then stuck with those tokens and they won't give you sort of a recycle option. I think we had it maybe once or twice during FIFA 19. Don't expect it in FIFA 20 at all because there are only 3 sets. The player tokens will be released over the duration of each icon swaps release. We don't know how long the swaps releases are going to be because they're only 3 a year, maybe every 3 months, maybe every 2 months, I don't know. Either way, let's move on slightly. You can see the top of the image now. The player tokens will be released over the duration of the icon swaps release. Did I just read that? Similar to foot swap deals, you will need to choose which icons you want to unlock based on how many player tokens you have earned. The beautiful thing about this is the S at the end of icon. So they are going to make some of them, and you can probably guess from the ones available, they are going to make some of them far cheaper than others so that you can actually get more than 1 icon from each individual swap promo, which is brilliant. So, like I said before, essentially, imagine they make Ian Wright, which is just in fact, let me just scroll down a little bit here So, hang on, what's this? Icon Swaps 1 will be released October the 11th. So there we go, we do have a date for it. And will run to December. So there we go, we do have. It's like a 2-month period. That makes sense. Icon Swaps 1 also allows you to earn select Prime Icon players before they go into packs. It will feature the following icons with their specific versions detailed in the image below. So there's something extra to take from that, which a lot of people may overlook, but we'll go to it. I'm covering Rio Ferdinand. I'm not an icon. It is Rio Ferdinand. See, there he is. I bet you thought, my God, CVM's an icon in FIFA 20. No, I'm not. So that is the first selection. Those are the... Oh, look, Giggs is there. Those are the first sort of set of players that we will get given. Some of them are primes. Some of them are mids. I think Crespo is a base. Interesting. But, you know, some of them are going to be stupidly expensive based on their overall. I would imagine Peter Schmeichel's going to be really cheap. I would imagine Guardiola will be really cheap. Okocha should be quite cheap. Crespo will be very cheap as well. Giggs probably won't be cheap, even though he should be, because he's useless in FIFA. Well, he has been in previous years, but his weak foot and his skill, they just let him down. Gerrard will probably be a reasonably expensive one. Michael Owen, I would imagine, would be expensive, but for the life of me, I can't maybe... Well, I don't know. He might actually be useful in FIFA 20, thinking about it, but you can kind of you get the gist. You kind of understand which ones. Like Sanchez is going to be expensive because that card looks brilliant. Ian Wright will be expensive because he's a new icon. Drogba the same. Pirlo, yeah, he's new, but he, you know, does he look good? I don't know. I can't make my mind up. I would like him though. Either way, that aside, that's your first set. Some of them are going to be cheap and only worth a couple of tokens. I don't know how many tokens are going to be available. They've not said, to the best of my knowledge, how many tokens will be released and what the most expensive player will be. So we'll have to wait and see on that aspect of it. But I do like it. I do like it a lot. It gives people a really, really good chance of getting an icon. Even if you pay very little attention to the objectives, you should, theoretically, be able to complete one icon. So you should be able to get at least a few tokens together to claim, even if it's, I don't know, Guardiola. You should be able to get at least one icon. So I like it. I like it a lot. And of course, the sets will only get better. There are a few sexy players in there. The negative side of it is that you can't get them all. And they're only available for 2 months. So for instance, for me, I am a Liverpool fan. So Steven Gerrard is a big player there. I really want to get Steven Gerrard. But then, by the same token, I loved Ian Wright growing up. Really, really good player. Would love to get him. Michael Owen, again, as a Liverpool fan. I don't want him because he's a snake. But Sanchez looks great. Pirlo, I want him because he's Pirlo. I think Butragueño is going to be a very good player in FIFA 20. Zanetti was fantastic in 19. Nesta's a very solid centre-back. Roberto Carlos is Roberto Carlos. So, yeah, there are a lot of players there that I wouldn't mind picking up. Roy Keane, even, is going to be a great card. So, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get them all, so you do have to prioritise. That's a little bit annoying, whereas the icons, SBCs, you could just build towards them and just work towards every single one of them if you really wanted to. But at least this won't cost you in-game coins. It's going to be for playing the game, apart from maybe the odd SBC to get a token. Let's move on, see if there's anything else. No, that's pretty much it. So, information regarding Icon Swaps 2 and 3 will be announced later in the year, and that's pretty much it. They just go on to say that they will be obviously reassessing as they progress forward. But I mean, that's a positive move in my opinion. It does leave an SBC gap out there, so they would have to replace the sort of, I would imagine they'd have to replace the ongoing SBCs with something. So maybe foot swaps will get changed into the icon style of things. So maybe they'll release foot swap style players as SBCs and keep them there all year. But they're not actually for tokens, they are for building SBCs instead. That would be really nice. I don't want them to move away from grindable SBCs, especially if the League SBC method is a thing this year. I would be more than happy to participate because I love opening packs. But if I don't have a reason to have a massive club stocked up to do these kind of SBCs, then there's going to be not that much point in me doing it, and it's just going to be focused on playing the game more than anything else. That together with objectives, again, playing games is going to be bigger than ever this year. So, anyway, I think it's a positive move. I like it. It's going to give everyone an even playing field to go and get an icon. Whether it is Peter Schmeichel or whether it is, I'm looking at like Sanchez. I think honestly Sanchez looks like the best one there. So yeah, whether it be one of whether it be the cheaper or the most expensive, everyone's going to get their chance to go and pick up an icon, and I like that. And obviously there's another 2 sets, so whether they include Ronaldo, R9, or Pele or something, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Probably just the base versions, but still, it's a positive move. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this from EA. Do you prefer the SBC system, or are you glad that they're doing this sort of thing now, which gives everyone an even playing field to do it? Regardless of time, you're still going to be able to complete 1 or 2. So that's kind of cool. But let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until tomorrow, FIFA 20 day. Goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.